Here I am remodeling a house. These two beams right there were here in the middle of the floor. One was right there and the other one was right there. All they had above them were the two top plates where the wall used to be. Obviously someone came in and all the way to where that wall ends right there, they just took down the load-bearing wall and stuck in a beam here and here. That was not sufficient for the span. This is a 20, well, to right there is about a 19-foot span. It's almost 22 feet from there to there. So anyways, I'm in here, and what I'm going to do, or what I am doing, is I've built some temporary scaffolding on both sides of the load-bearing wall, and using A-frames, I've removed, quite a few of the boards, but basically doing this throughout so I can get pressure. Screw one side in, and then hammer in the bottom until it gets really tight, and then stick another one up against it, and then hammer in the bottom, and you do that. You'd put another one right at the base of this one, and stick it up, and then hammer that one back, and then stick another one up against that, and basically you just have a web of 2x4s going back and forth all the way down. You can get a lot of pressure pushing up, because I wanted to jack it up just a little bit, because when I pull this out and everything and put on hangers and put in my LVL beams, it's going to drop down just a little bit. So anyways, using this method to jack it up a little, and then one of the beams, once you do an A-frame, one of them is going to be loose because one of them is going to get really tight and one will be a little bit loose. You could snug up the other one and, keep the A-frame, but then you'd have a lot of 2x4s. So all I did was just remove the excess 2x4s that I didn't need for support. So anyways, there's about every 2 feet, except in a couple of areas where I've got a larger gap for bringing material in and out. Anyways, another thing you can do is you can kind of squeeze the members together. Like you can grab onto this one and pull and screw it into this one and that one, and that'll keep pressure bearing up. But yeah, so anyways, or you could just frame a standard 24-inch on center wall on both sides. This is faster and does the same job. Just temporary supports anyways. So these two top plates that are here are going to be pulled out, and then these two 12-inch LVLs, laminated veneer lumber pieces, are going to be put in. And they are going to be up in the ceiling. This is a 15 pound dead load roof, a very minimal roof. There are no snow concerns here, so we don't have to worry too much. I mean, the roof was not sagging all that much, even with just two 2x4 top plates supported every 7 feet or so. The roof really wasn't sagging. So if two 2x4s with a couple of supports every 7 feet and the roof wasn't sagging, then these two 12-inch LVLs combined together going across this will be plenty sufficient. So what I've done already is there were quite a few cross members coming here into the middle, going all the way down this span. I basically just moved them all over. They're sitting directly underneath the ridge beam, and then over on this side I did the same. I shored up the side as well, all sitting on those 2x6s all the way down there and all the way down there. I added a bunch of supports up here, all sitting on 2x6 members, because this area actually looked kind of like this. It was pretty bare. There's no supports here in the middle at all. So I added a lot of structural support along this entire line, and then I'm leaving these cross members here because my beam's going to go right here through the center. So I'm going to move away all the insulation, back it up about 16 inches. I'm going to give myself from here I'm going to cut all the drywall all the way down, just the drywall, about 16 inches out. And then I'm going to mark on each of these beams exactly 3.5 inches, and I'm going to use this 2x4 if it is truly 3.5. I'm going to use it as my guide, and I'm going to mark up here at the top, and then I'm going to put my square up against there and mark a line. Then I'll come back and I will cut with my reciprocating saw that straight line, because I need this. I need all of these 2x6 members that are these joists that are coming across here. I need them all to be perfectly in line. I'm also going to snap a chalk line across here as well, just to make sure there's not too much wiggle. I mean, the LVL can move a little bit, you know, like typical lumber, but not all that much. So I just need to make sure that my 2x6s are going to be snug up against the LVL. So my first one I put up here, I'll be able to, you know, get up here and, you know, get it up snug and make sure there's no problems. I'm going to give myself a little bit of excess to where I might have to cut a couple of members twice, just because once I get the first LVL up here and get it across here, then I'm going to be able to see if there's anything that is 1 3/4 of an inch, you know, if it's directly on that or not, because each LVL is 1 3/4 to make 3.5. So if this 2x member is truly 3.5 inches, then I'll be able to use it as a guide and get everything really nice and snug. For when I put my hangers on the LVL, they will be within the required 1/8 gap. Nothing larger than a 1/8 gap on the hanger. Yeah, so that's the project, is to put this LVL up here in the attic so it's recessed and it's not showing down there in the living room. Another consideration is at the ends. So on this end I'm going to have 3 jack studs underneath it, and then there'll be a couple of king studs as well. But it's actually going to be resting on the top plate. So there'll be 3 jack studs and then another king stud on this side. So there'll be 4 to distribute the weight down to the concrete footer. That's important as well whenever you're doing something like this. Same thing on the other side. This is a load-bearing wall, so there's a footer running this entire length here. So on the other side as well, I'm going to be putting 3 jack studs and a king that it'll be resting on. So that'll help distribute the weight a little bit better than just putting a couple. Yeah, that's about it. And we get to see what it looks like when it's all done.